Hi, I'm Kerry Gridley, and I'm a working actress in New Orleans, Louisiana.
What was your first project?
The first thing I worked on was a local car dealership commercial, so it was on the North Shore, close to my house, and it was just a lot of fun. It was the first time I was ever in front of the camera instead of doing background work or stand-in work, so it was sort of intimidating, but very exciting. And, with each take, I kind of felt like I got a little more comfortable. I was real nervous at first, of course, because, you get on set, you want to do a great job, and you want these people that hired you to think that you're good, which at that time I was not good. But I had a great time doing it, and after that I didn't want to do any more behind the scenes stuff. And I think that's when I really started to get serious about, taking the job seriously. I started to investigate classes and started to really want to get some training because I knew that to get better, that's what I was going to have to do. Some people are real natural actors, but that's not me. So I tried it that way, and I knew that wasn't going to work. I had auditioned quite a bit like that. So the job was so much fun. After that, that's all I wanted to do.
What got you started in film?
Well, I've always loved watching movies from the time I was a kid, and then I worked for George Solomon, who runs the whole Southern Theater Group, which encompasses Canal Place, all the Grand Theaters in Louisiana, and then the Movie Tavern in Covington, which is my favorite place to go. I love eating there and watching movies, and you can drink, so it's perfect. But I worked as his executive assistant, which I had done for 10 years out of college, and then just started doing background work. And that's really just the experience of being on a movie set and seeing these famous people and just watching a film being made and being part of it, where when it came out in the movies you can look for yourself, and it was just so exciting to me. So after that, it was just a very few times that I worked on it. I knew that's what I wanted to do.
You've worked on Nothing Left to Fear, The Butler, and many others, so what stood out for you being on those larger sets?
Nothing Left to Fear was the first one where I was a stand-in for the full run of the film. So what that means is you're there every time the actor you're standing in for is there. So you really got to see, the whole film being shot. And it really was neat watching that one when it came out to see how all these scenes played out that you saw on set from behind the scenes every day. So that was very exciting. And then on The Butler, I met Jim Gleason, who, if you're in New Orleans, you know who he is. He works on almost every film that's shot down here, and he's just awesome. So I've taken a lot of classes with him, as well as with Lance Nichols, who's another person I really admire, actor down here. And now I'm working with James Dumont, who is awesome as well. But on The Butler set is where I first met Jim. I had seen his work and, checked out his IMDb page before, but he was such a nice person, so warm, and, really spoke to me like I was part of the crew instead of, because some people don't take extras seriously, so they don't think your contribution is valuable, and, they don't put you in the same category. So after that, I, was like, I really need to take some classes, and this is the person I want to take classes with. So that's what I started doing, and it didn't take very long. I was definitely green in the beginning, as he'll attest to. Very green. I'd never had any training, but he worked with me a lot. And after that, I finally started to book projects. So he's a lot of my success is due to Jim.
How has your career changed since getting into Screen Actors Guild?
It hasn't changed drastically yet, except that I will say I'm more selective now about what projects I work on. I will only work on SAG projects. So if I get booked on something that's not a SAG project, I will give them the opportunity to make it a new media project by using my SAG number. Also, I got a bunch of free DVDs. I got to watch them in advance of them coming out in the theaters. That was very exciting. And got to vote for the SAG Awards. So that was cool too. It was like watching it was a totally different experience now that I was actually part of the decision-making process. So that was really cool.
How do you balance your career and being a mother?
I have two little ones. They're both under the age of 3. So sometimes it's very hectic to balance it all, but I have a very supportive husband, and my mom is also very supportive. Grandma, she's my only babysitter besides my husband, and they're just great. They make it happen. I mean, I very, very rarely have to miss an audition for anything because one or the other of them will make sure I get it done. So it's tough to balance. It's real tough. You miss a lot of sleep. You have to give up a lot of other things, but to me it's worth it. I mean, I love it, and you just, what you love most is what you devote your time to. So that's, for me, my family and my acting career.
Do you have any advice to other actors?
I have a lot of advice. First of all, when you're new, find somebody like Jim Gleason, like Lance Nichols, or James Dumont, who you admire, And to me, it's important to me to find somebody you admire personally and professionally. And, you know, people that have the same type of career you would like, and ask them for advice, take class from them. That's so important. I mean, there are a few people who have natural talent and they don't have to take class, but even they can benefit, even with the natural talent. And I'm not a person who has natural talent, so I needed class, I needed training. I'm still in ongoing training, and I probably always will be. But that's what I think is important. And also, you should network. That's something I didn't do in the beginning, and I wish I had. Because you meet people, you talk to people, and then when they're thinking of their next project, they want to use you and book you and work with you. And always, always be professional. That's my other most important advice. Show up on time, don't complain, you know, do your job to the best of your ability, and people remember that stuff. When they have something else, I've worked on several things with people who admire my professionalism. Even one agent that I have, I was thinking about leaving that agency for another agency, and they said, please don't leave because we know you're professional, we like working with you, and so I stayed. So those things are important. You know, your professionalism is your calling card, and so you want people, when they think of you, to think, this is a person that I like to work with. She's going to show up on time, do a good job, and, you know, I'm going to get a good finished product out of it.
Do you have any advice to your younger self?
I would say yes, I do. Take classes in college. Take classes anytime you can take classes. That's the most important piece of advice that I didn't think I needed to do in the beginning, and honestly I couldn't afford to do it in the beginning. But my career would have gotten a jump start much faster had I done so. And I really wish that in college I'd taken some classes or, you know, worked on a play, anything. I had never done any of that, and it really would have helped me.
Thank you.